What caused Bitcoin's price to drop yesterday suddenly? Crypto panics, then jeers at DOJ announcement of major action against tiny Chinese exchange Bitslotto. I've never heard of Bitslotto either. Bitcoin fell some 4.6% within minutes. ETH shed 5% in the same period. Crypto Twitter whipped itself into an anxious frenzy, speculating as to whether another FTX-style implosion of a critical market player was imminent. Federal prosecutors proudly announced criminal charges against Bitslotto, a Hong Kong-based cryptocurrency exchange. The exchange's founder, Russian national Anatoly Legodimov, I'm sure I destroyed that last name, I apologize, apparently known by the nickname Gandalf, much easier to pronounce, was arrested last night in Miami. Okay, so he's in Miami, he's Russian, the exchange is in China. Okay, all right, so we're just making sure we know where all the pieces are, okay? He failed to establish anti-money laundering requirements for Bitslotto, which allegedly processed some 700 million in illicit funds over the course of its history, primarily in the form of transactions related to dark web marketplace Hydra. Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco proudly touted the arrest a significant blow to the crypto crime ecosystem and the elimination of a key member of a so-called crypto crime axis. Bitslotto, relative to the size of most major crypto exchanges, is minuscule. Most of Twitter laughed off the underwhelming reveal. Some may have found it less amusing. Prior to the Department of Justice announcement, many speculated that the agency would announce charges against Binance. Everyone's waiting for that one. So before we move over to the next article, I just want to recap what we have, okay? The founder of this exchange is a Russian national. The exchange itself is based in Hong Kong, and he's living in Miami, and the exchange is being accused of laundering illicit funds that went through darknet markets. Just keep this all in mind. A lot of moving parts to this. Anatoly Legodimov was arrested in Miami on Tuesday night. Overnight, the department worked with key partners here and abroad to disrupt Bitslotto, the Chinese-based money laundering engine that fueled the high-tech axes of crypto crime. So I have to admit, when Silk Road existed, I mean, they were even talking about it on the news, and nobody was being arrested yet. So it's very interesting to me that very few people have ever heard of this particular exchange. And yet it was supposedly this high-tech axis of crypto crime. We're going to take a look at a comment from Frank Chaparro. I've covered crypto for 6 years and have never heard of Bitslotto. I'm sure the mainstream press will cover it like it's a death knell for the industry. Indeed, indeed. Now, this is to me where it gets a little interesting. I stumble upon this tweet from this person who I have no idea who they are. Anyways, co-founder and CEO of Hacken Club, Zero Tolerance to Scam, Web3 Transparency, and Accountability Maxi. Ukraine's prosperity is a key mission. Okay, so in terms of the war, this person is a Ukraine supporter. Not that that should make a difference, but this is kind of interesting. Legit call from the Justice Department. Bitslotto was a very well known as a trusted tool for retail drugs payment and distribution in Ukraine, Russia, and other RU-speaking countries. But the whole entire time, talking about this exchange being in China. So this Chinese exchange, right? So think about the players now. Chinese exchange that's, quote unquote, helping supposedly Russian and Ukrainian crime. I gotta tell you, I never heard of this exchange before, and it doesn't mean that just because I've never heard of it that it's not a thing. But my point is that this news managed to cause the Bitcoin price, this news of an exchange that nobody ever heard about, okay? That this exchange supposedly facilitated $700 million in transactions, which, don't get me wrong, is a drop in the bucket of illegal transactions. And it's such a big deal And then all of a sudden we have a pretty sizable account, right? 35,000 followers coming out and touting it as like a big legit move from the legal for the Justice Department. I think it's very interesting the countries that are involved. Okay, and also there was a statement made that it doesn't matter where in the world you're doing your crime. Okay, if it's crossing into the U.S., you are going to come to stand trial in the US. Now, of course, I am not even going to get into that, but my main point of all of this is quite simple. I actually think that this has nothing to do with Bits Lotto. I believe that, to be honest, this exchange was just simply chosen because of who they are, where they were. I think it's a political play. I know that we recently, if I'm not mistaken, printed over $1.7 trillion, of which I don't even remember what the number is that's going to Ukraine in aid. And again, I don't care about the war. I think that all of these things are absolutely ridiculous. These are all power plays at much higher levels, which unfortunately affect all of us little people, specifically the people in those war-torn countries. My point is that I believe that this whole story is simply about the narrative showing, hey, we're looking out for the little guy. We're paying attention and we are enforcing the rule of law. I think Bitslotto is a total psyop.